just got back from emo a week ago, so Lucas and I are here trying to get ready to do a little bit of how-to videos here in the shop. And then coming back from emo, we've just been service has been adding up. So we've got a lot of parts we've been ordering. We've got a couple customers who've got some gearbox problems we've been helping. So we've been answering the phones, making sure our schedule's busy. My dad's in town this week, so he's got a couple of jobs to do. He's gonna be out. A lot of people have seen him or met him. I mean, everybody knows him. And he's gonna be on camera today, and we're gonna do some fun stuff together. A lot of things going on today. I need to look at these vector drives under a video and show a customer. I'd like to do a whole overview about spindle, about the orientation on this old machine, and parameter 64, which is the tool change height, which if you have a battery that goes dead, if you end up changing a ball screw, it's really important that your tool change height is correct or your tool changing will smack into it. Over here on this table, I want to go over a project we've been working on for quite a while. These are bearing packs. So in your ball screws, you've got two angular contact bearings in the end. Sometimes these are called the thrust bearings. They're the bearings that hold the whole ball screw tight, and that allows your machine to predictably, accurately go to the same position. Otherwise, your whole ball screw is shifting, which means your whole table's shifting. So, old machines, the bearings don't last forever. They end up wearing out. You've got backlash inside the bearings, or it's got a poor lubrication, or you've got rust. You have this sound that kind of goes like this. Every time the machine homes or rapids to a home position. More than likely, you've got a bad bearing pack inside of it. Now, there's a lot to get to this point, but once you've gotten to this point, we just did some R&D on these tools. We ran a batch of them. I'm really happy to have them for sale and ready because they're just, nobody else is doing this. And I've done this in the field without these tools, and it's a pain in the neck. So you have this bearing pack out of a machine, you slip it inside of this holder. You're gonna mount this inside of a vise. The bolt holes that the bolt screws that you just took out, you're gonna put them in. You're gonna take this tool, pop it in here with a big cheater bar. I actually used a D-wall impact. This is gonna unthread. You're gonna pull that right out of here. The factory puts some Loctite on them, so if you're having a really hard time, you can put a little bit of heat on this, but you're just gonna unthread this, pull this out, and then from our web store, you can buy the bearings, you can buy the nuts, you can buy everything. So the funniest thing, this is called a 40mm bearing pack. I don't know where they got that 40mm dimension, but this is called a 40mm, and this is called a 32mm. Locking tool here, unthread this, out it comes. This is what it's gonna look like inside. You need to pay really close attention to the bearings, that you put them the correct orientation. You want, inner race to inner race or outer race to outer race. What you don't want is one to the other. Then what's gonna happen is your bearings are gonna be loose and your whole ball screw is not gonna be tight, because these are angular contact bearings and they need to be locked up specifically inner race to inner race or outer race to outer race, not one to the other. If you've got a bearing pack that's 32mm bearing pack and you wanna rebuild the bearings, you're gonna need this tool. We're just putting it on our website. We'll call it 32mm bearing disassembly tool. Let's go over and we'll look in our tool cabinet. I'll show you some of our tools. The nice thing is you buy one of these sets of tools once, you've got it in your van. If you're a field service tech, you can go work on any machine. If you've got a few machines in your shop, or even just one, you're probably gonna be doing, say, the Y ball screw, the X, and in a few years, you're probably gonna be doing the Z. So it's nice to have these tools. Other tools we've got in here, this is specific. A customer reached out and wanted to buy this tool, and it's a 20 castle nut umbrella tool. Come with me and I'll show you where it goes inside the machine. If you have to replace the bearing inside your 20 pocket tool changer, you're gonna have a tough time doing it with a punch, because you've got to get to this lock nut that's inside of here. So it's a super simple tool. It fits right inside. This one might already be kind of damaged, but I should look at the flashlight and look. Oh, I'm on there. So this tool is going to make it so that you can much easier, or make it a lot nicer. I should throw my flashlight in there. Somebody probably used a punch on that one and really galled it up. Let's look. Yeah, you can see. Now, they got it apart and probably replaced the bearing. I've seen the bearings get all rusted. But if you don't want to put that one back on, you need to buy this tool and you need to buy the right nut, so that you don't sell the machine to somebody else and then he ends up complaining that the last guy who took this apart didn't use the correct tool and kind of galled up the little slots that these teeth fit into. So lots and lots of options when it comes to tools for your machine. The right tool for the right job and the replacement parts, whether it's a nut, it's a bolt, shoulder bolt, or a belt, or a pulley. We've got a lot of things stock. I'm trying to make it easy with these videos so that you can, if you're a service tech, go confidently work on a machine for somebody, someone with all the right tools. If you've got your own shop, just be confident that you can fix the machine quickly and get back to operation. The pre-charge pressure gauge tool. This tool is really convenient, and I'm telling people, hey, you need a pre-charge pressure gauge tool all the time. Basically, this tool has all these T's here. I'll set it on the ground and show you. You're gonna pop the line loose going to the tool release piston, and you're gonna put in this T, and then you can basically, in series, measure the pressure going to your pre-charge. So it's really critical that that pressure is set correctly so that your tool changer doesn't bang. Let's go put this in a machine, and I'll show you. Here's your tool release piston. So this pre-charge pressure gauge tool, you just pop this out in line, meaning you put the T from this one in there. You're gonna take this one, shove that in, check your pre-charge pressure gauge tool. It's super simple. It's a pressure gauge tool with a T. Just trying to say, if you're a service tech for your machine shop and you're working on your machine, you need some tools like this to do jobs really quickly and really easily. So it's 240. This valve turns on first for about 400 milliseconds. It then drops the pressure through here, comes to this T, comes over and goes to this side and this side of these Humphrey, they call them quick exhaust valves. And then there's no banging against this, it's just a smooth unclamp and completely blowing out.
And that's why some of these are cracked and stuff.
That's right, it'll break the bolts, it'll break the pins. You can just adjust this regulator until it doesn't bang. But you need one of these, a pre-charge pressure gauge tool. That's a great sounding TRP. It goes, no slamming, nothing. If I was to pop this line off, we're gonna have a slam now. This is the sound we're looking for. Slow down and then completely down, and then all the way back up even.
The spring is down, the plunger is down.
So customer sent us this video, not sure what to do in troubleshooting. Looking at it, I can tell this is an older style Humphrey quick exhaust valve. The air pressure is going to come in full air pressure to this blue valve. And in his case, he's got a problem either with his quick exhaust valve or with the regulator and solenoid in the back that's applying that little pre-charge. Now, if you don't love pulling your head cover off and putting your head cover back on, or you're paying somebody to do it and they've got an hourly rate, the easiest thing by far is to replace both of these together. Check your pre-charge pressure with a pre-charge pressure gauge tool and make sure you have your machine correctly tuned, right? A new valve, an operating quick exhaust valve, the pre-charge pressure set correctly. Before you go put the head cover back on, instead of just doing one of these at a time, go in there, fix your machine with right new parts, and don't monkey with it again. That's what I'm trying to show in these videos, and the way I want to sell parts is get the right parts you need quickly to get your machine back to running. It's not always worth it sometimes to get to the bottom of it. So this is kind of a background of where I am today, but I've worked on many machines over the years when I was a newer tech and not sure, hey, it's got tool changer problems. So you order this valve and you replace it, and it didn't fix the problem. So you order this valve and, well, it's working a little better, but now it's not really working. And then you go around the back and you order a new pre-charge solenoid and a new regulator, but then you didn't have a pre-charge tool. I mean, so every time you visit a shop, you have a travel rate and a minimum hourly rate. I would have been way better off to spend $500 in parts on day one, replace all the parts that could have been the problem, completely fix the problem, and leave, and the guy would have been so much happier than getting a bill for 4 or 5 trips out there and each time a different part. If your time is really valuable, buy the parts that you think are the problem, replace all of them, put your head cover back on, and get back to work. That's my 2 cents on fixing machines. One of the phone calls that we got this morning had to do with a guy who had a gearbox machine with a small pancake piston. Did your old switch do the same thing? Did the light turn on and turn off? And what was happening is whenever he would release his tool, the tool release piston would go up really slowly or not go up at all. Troubleshooting, say, what model machine is this? Now what that means is that you've got something not allowing the air to vent back out to atmospheric pressure inside your piston. Your piston goes down under pressure and there's a spring that then pulls it back up. We can't do it on a simulator because the simulator has the
No, it has to be in the VF2.
It has to be in the
It
VF2.
can't be in this guy because it's got to use the servo motors.
Yeah. Involved in a tool change is the tool changer in and out, the tool release piston moving down, unclamping the tool. And you don't want to be changing tools by hand. Everybody wants a tool change. That's one way to do it. I think that's going to involve a bit more wiring and a bit more troubleshooting. Everything has to work in order for it to unclamp the tool changer to remove the tool from the spindle, go to a different one, load the other tool, and then for it to unclamp or reclamp the tool, which means release the air, and it wants to see that switch change state. The tool is correctly clamped before the tool changer goes away. Okay, bye. Thanks, Lucas.
Let's go over here where that's all messy.
Just cycle the power and we'll try it again. Oh, 7730.